iced cupcake, how long would you need to walk to say utilize the calories that was in that cupcake and for walking? Any guesses? 10 minutes, 25 minutes, 70? Spot on. It's an hour. So how much sugar? How much sugar in I can't really hear you, so I'll just carry on. Sorry. 41 grams. How much is 41 grams? It fell out of my, but this is almost a third of a cup, or sorry, it's almost a quarter of a cup. It's that much sugar in one pop. And so maybe like a double at Tim Hortons is 25 grams or so. It's less than that, but it's a lot of sugar. You just wouldn't sit down and eat that much, right? No. Well, except for brownies.
We still want people to eat the brownies. Lighten up on the sugar stuff.
Yeah, like, except for brownies, which is its own food group. And so sugar's not bad, but try to get your sugar in foods that it occurs naturally. And when you enjoy a cupcake or brownies, you have that in moderation, right? So it's not a forbidden thing, but moderation. Healthy fat choices, looking at olive oil versus again, manufactured fats. Healthy carbs. Don't miss carbs. Don't take them out of your diet. Carbohydrates are really important, but it's a kind. So processed white rice and white pasta, not your best choice. It's broken down into sugars very quickly. You want your whole grain brown rice, again, closest to how nature made it. And don't diet. Diets don't work. You can lose weight, but it's not going to be a long-term answer. It's looking at making good food choices. So being active. So 3 parts of our health for being active, moving our bodies is 1, cardio, and aerobic fitness is weights and strength training, and is flexibility and balance. And flexibility and balance and stretching is so important. Reduces falls, strength as well. So quiz, how many minutes per week of moderate to vigorous activity is recommended? Is it 5 minutes? Is it
120.
200? 120 sounds really close. 150 minutes a week. And so that's like 5 half-hour times of exercise. It's not so much. I like to think of, it's a good idea to try to limit your sitting time to 23 and a half hours. So it's not that much in that kind of context, right? So sit less, move more, and I love motion as lotion for your joints. But okay, we're sitting, let's stand, everyone stand. And stretch, we've already been sitting for a while. Stretch out. Okay. And shake it out. There you go. Okay. Get your sleep. Super important. Don't believe everything you think, or just because you think it doesn't make it so. And this is so important. We don't have control over the thoughts that pop into our head all the time, but we do have control over what we do with them. And amazingly enough, our brain doesn't necessarily always give us the truth. And maybe I failed my spelling test, and my brain says, "You're an idiot. You're never going to amount to anything." So those thoughts are very distressing. But if I think about those thoughts, they're not actually accurate. I'm not a failure because I failed my spelling test. I'm maybe not a very good speller, but I'm not a failure. So that thing I'm thinking isn't actually true. It's not really accurate. And our brain is busy all the time, throwing out thoughts all the time. We thought of this, what about that? And we have to kind of be looking at those thoughts and recognize are they accurate or not, and change them up if they aren't accurate. I'm gonna skip over that. So, another thing that when we're often in a lot of distress, it may be we're really angry at something, or we're feeling really down, or maybe we're really, really worried or scared. And when we're feeling really heavy emotion like that, that's an idea to step back a little bit and say, well, I'm really feeling awful. What am I thinking? So wait, what am I thinking? And sometimes those thoughts we have are not accurate, and we can change them up. It's like, okay, my girlfriend just broke up with me. I'm never going to meet anybody. I'm going to be miserable. And so if those thoughts were true, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a kind of a sad sense of, the rest of your life if you're never going to meet anybody, but it's clearly not true. I guess it's possible, but what's the chance of it? Not much. So what am I thinking? Reducing stress. Just as Jenny was saying, stress really can exacerbate all sorts of illnesses across the board, and can actually make us feel quite physically ill as well. There's a sweet spot of stress because we get things done, we're motivated, just like working last night to get things together, right? Yeah. But there's also like ongoing stress that it becomes too much, and then it's not very clear, is it? But there gets to be a peak where you see that sweet spot of stress and being really motivated, getting things done, and then it becomes too much, we're overburdened, and we kind of can get panicky or anxious, worse, and then we often can have a breakdown, burnout, and so that we just can't work at all. So we have to try to manage that stress. How do we do that? Well, one thing, just right in the moment when you're feeling really stressful, is breathe. And, well, we all breathe. What do you mean breathe? Breathe, because when you're stressful, we don't tend to breathe. Because if you, say you're walking through the park and you hear something, you're not gonna breathe if you kind of hold your breath or breathe really shallow. So take a big breath, try it. So, big belly breath. And out through your mouth, and just try it again. I said that before. Pat yourself on the back for that. So we can do that. It's a little trick. You can automatically feel a little bit of relaxation. It has a physiologic effect on our body. It's not just breathing. Actually, it can be very helpful. So manage stress, identify the cause, take action, replace unhealthy coping strategies, like for instance, maybe drinking or eating 2 to 6 trays of brownies, that may be too much, and self-care. And really the things I'm talking about, just these 10 things are what the self-care is all about. Be mindful. So what does that mean? We're so busy, right? We're multitasking, and we think that's really a really great thing, and I don't think it really is. We need to slow things down. We need to be mindful. What does that mean? It means focusing on what you're doing right now. And maybe it's eating a meal. So instead of eating a meal, running through stuff on Facebook and having the one eye other on the TV, and just focus on the meal. And think about, well, how does it taste? What does it feel like in my mouth? And that can be really helpful, especially under stressful situations. So mindful also can be, when you're out walking, what am I looking at? What do I see? What do I feel? So being out in nature, and that's our cute little dog, he's just a boy. Anyway, being out in nature, it's so interesting because research has shown that being out in nature, just that alone has positive benefits for health. People that spend time in nature are healthier and happier. Lots of research lately showing that. There was a study actually way back, people having a cholecystectomy or the gallbladder out, recovering in a room with windows or in a room without windows. The people that were recovering in a room with windows were discharged a day earlier. This was ages ago because now we just do it in one day. But a day earlier discharge, just having a window, no other factors played in that. So, quick quiz. Research has shown positive health benefits of being out in nature are seen after how much time? Is it an hour every day in nature? Is it 90 minutes 4 times a week? Or is it 20 minutes at a time, totaling 2 hours per week? Any guesses? I think I heard 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes at a time. They've measured cortisol, or the stress sort of hormone. It starts to drop after 20 minutes in nature. You don't have to be walking in nature or hiking in nature. You can just be even sitting on a park bench, just looking out at nature. It doesn't have to be associated with activity. So pretty remarkable, I think. So that's some of the recent research. Live in gratitude. This is an old thing. It's across cultures, it's across religions to be grateful. There is always something to be thankful for in every situation. You gotta look for it, for sure sometimes, absolutely. But it's enormously important for our health. So nurture your social connections. So this is what it's about. This is another thing that's so interesting, I think, because research again is showing how important it is to have these connections. Anyway, there was a researcher who's been around for a very long time, Glassner, and he has 4 or 5 basic human things for basic human needs. So one is survival, your house and food and so on. And the other 4 things are power, fun, freedom, and love and belonging. So love and belonging is being, in their research is one of the main things that we need for our basic needs. So what is social connection? Experiencing, feeling close and a sense of belonging with others. And what are the benefits of social connection? This is a study that was done by a doctor in the States at Stanford University. This is a little while ago now, and there's more research that's following up with this. So these are some of the benefits of social connection. So increased longevity, living longer, stronger gene expression for immunity, so better immunity, lower anxiety and depression, higher self-esteem and empathy, better emotion regulation. Social connection creates a positive feedback loop of social, emotional, and physical well-being. And so what are the dangers of low social connection? So worse for health than smoking, high blood pressure, and obesity. Just having that social connection, so important. Higher inflammation at a cellular level, so these inflammatory illnesses. Higher susceptibility to anxiety and depression. Slower recovery from disease. Increased antisocial behavior and violence, and increased suicide. I think it's pretty incredible, these studies that are showing this. So this is from Stanford. So how much social disconnect or connection do Americans have? And I would suggest we're probably similar. Loneliness, isolation, and alienation are on the rise. 25% of Americans claim they don't have anyone they could share a problem with. And loneliness is one of the main reasons people seek psychological counseling. So how can I increase my social connection? If I'm, say, an introvert or don't have any friends, what should I do? These studies show that it's not necessarily having dozens and dozens of friends or hundreds of people on Facebook, but it's sometimes just feeling like you have a connection is really important. And as long as you feel connected to other people, that's has really good health benefits. And an internal sense of connection can be nurtured, and you can make it better. And that can be helped, say, if you don't have those close personal friends, but doing things like volunteering, that creates a sense of connection. So helping others, asking for help, we create a sense of belonging with people just by helping or asking for help. The other sense is taking care, the other part of helping this connection is taking care of oneself. Stress is linked to high self-focus and therefore lower sense of connection. So when you look at all the things that we do to help reduce stress, that has that effect of helping get that connection out with others. If you're happy from within, you're also more likely to feel connected, to reach out to others, and to make a world a happier and sunnier place. And ask for help. Research shows that people are willing to help us, but if we don't ask, they assume we don't need help. Reach out to those around you. So make those calls. Maybe do some volunteer. Text that person that maybe you haven't talked to in a long time, for a while. Anyway, really interesting research, and I think so timely. Getting to having community connection right now. All right. So what are the 10 things?
Food. Nature. Activity. Sleep. Mindfulness.
Yeah.
Gratitude.
Connecting.
So let's say nature. Yeah.
Sleep.
Brownies.
What's that?
Brownies.
Absolutely. Really remiss on that, having this on the list. Okay. So these are all the things that can really help you with your health, your physical and your mental health, like Jaylee said, and they're connected. They're not separate. I think often in Western medicine we're not very good at having those things connected. We say, well, we've got a lot of pills for this and this, but for the physical stuff, but the mental, we've kind of dropped the ball on that a lot, and they're so connected. You'll feel better physically and mentally and emotionally if you do these simple things that can take care of your health. And I'm so excited about the idea of just being in nature, or just being with people, or going to, say, like the Pod Ladies Night on Saturday, that those things are great for my health. I mean, who knew? So those are not such a hard thing as like trying to run a marathon, or or quitting smoking. Sometimes those things are really tough. So these are easier things, I think, sometimes. So I guess this is really about journeying through life. When all is said and done, really, isn't it the relationships, the social connectedness that really matters when all is said and done? And I digress. So it's a big list. Don't even imagine you can do it all, but do what you can. Do bits and pieces. Do a little bit of it. Remember that each of us is infinitely imperfect, in a perfect sort of way. I mean, we just are. And so we wax and we wane. We have good intentions. We do well with them. We don't. So just do the best that we can do. And when I firmly believe that we really are always doing the best we can do, but that's going to look different sometimes. If one's really tired, that day is not going to look the same as a day that you're pumped and got lots of energy. But you're still doing the best you can do. So give yourself some grace. Be grateful. connect with others, connect with your community. So, one final question. What will you do for yourself tomorrow? Will you phone someone, text someone? Will you go to nature? Go dancing? Have a little coffee with someone? No right answer, but do something for you. Okay, give yourself a pat on the back. And I think that's it. Thank you. 211 is the number or text or phone for lots of programs and services to the community, so I just thought I'd pop that up. And then you need to know that number too. So, all right, thank you so much, and thank you, Joanna, for this.
Thank you. Wonderful information, both from Dr. Ann and Jaylee. Thank you, ladies, so much for sharing your knowledge and all these great ideas. It's an inspiration for our program, I think. So we will take a short break now, maybe 5, 7, 8 minutes, we'll see. Feel free to go back and visit Tammy. The brownies are being unwrapped as I speak. Grab yourself another beverage, washroom, enter the door prize, socialize, connect with each other for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about Me Time.